Football history is written in moments. A single kick, a single decision, a signature on a contract that echoes through decades. But what if the pen had moved differently? What if the greatest rival the sport has ever known had worn the same colours? The year is 2009. Barcelona have just conquered Europe under a young Pep Guardiola. Lionel Messi, barely 22 years old, is already being called a genius. And across the continent, in Manchester, a Portuguese winger is tearing the Premier League apart. Cristiano Ronaldo. Fast, relentless, unstoppable. Breaking news flashes across giant screens. Phones buzz across the world. In a move that has shattered the football world, Cristiano Ronaldo has signed for FC Barcelona. The football world didn't just react, it convulsed. Real Madrid had been preparing the biggest transfer in history, and Barcelona had stolen it. The rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo, a rivalry destined to define an era, would now unfold on the same training ground, in the same dressing room, wearing the same shirt. But here's what nobody could have predicted. Nobody could have imagined what would happen when genius met machine, when the artist and the athlete became teammates. Chapter 2. Messi meets Ronaldo. The first day of training, the cameras were everywhere. Every journalist in Europe wanted one photograph, one image that would define the impossible. Messi walks toward the pitch carrying a ball. Ronaldo arrives in Blaugrana. They stop, face to face. The world holds its breath. For 10 full seconds, neither spoke. Messi, the quiet genius, the boy who let his feet do the talking. Ronaldo, the physical specimen, the man who had sculpted himself into a weapon. Two men who had been preparing to fight each other their entire careers. And then Ronaldo's face breaks into a smile. Looks like we're teammates now. Messi, quietly, with a small smile. Let's make history. 3 words. And in that moment, something shifted. Not just in that training ground, in the entire sport. The sessions became legendary. Ronaldo, who had always trusted his speed and power, began learning from Messi's vision. Messi, who had always created alone, discovered the freedom of having a finisher who missed nothing. Xavi later said he had never seen anything like it. Iniesta called it watching 2 storms merge into a hurricane. And Guardiola watched from the sideline, arms crossed. A slow, knowing smile. If they trust each other, nobody can stop them. Chapter 3. The new Barcelona. The season unfolded like a prophecy being fulfilled. Barcelona didn't just win matches, they dismantled opponents. Every team that stepped onto the pitch against them knew, you cannot mark 2 geniuses at once. By December, the numbers were terrifying. 78 goals in half a season. A winning streak that stretched beyond memory. Messi creating, Ronaldo finishing. Then Ronaldo creating, Messi finishing. It didn't matter who did what. The ball always found the net. Opposing managers held emergency meetings. Tactical analysts stayed up through the night. They tried double-marking both men, leaving 8 players to cover the rest of Barcelona. They tried flooding the midfield. They tried parking the bus. None of it worked. But here's the thing about greatness. It doesn't just defeat you, it changes you. Teams facing Barcelona that season didn't just lose, they lost differently. Some stopped trying to win, they just tried to survive. And yet, one question hung over everything. One stadium, one opponent. One match that would answer whether this partnership was real or simply a beautiful illusion. Chapter 4. El Clásico. Camp Nou. Barcelona versus Real Madrid. There is no bigger stage in club football. No rivalry that burns hotter. And this one carried a weight no Clásico had ever carried before. Because Real Madrid hadn't just lost a signing. They had lost the man they believed would define their next decade. 98,000 fans, hundreds of millions watching around the world. And in the tunnel, 2 men in Blaugrana who, in another life, would have been enemies. The whistle blows. The match is ferocious from the first second. Real Madrid struck first. 23rd minute, a corner kick, a defensive mistake, and the stadium fell silent. The doubt crept in. Was the dream too perfect, too fragile? Messi and Ronaldo exchange a look. No words, just an understanding. And then Messi receives the ball at midfield. He accelerates. One defender, two, three. The Camp Nou rises as one. Still going, still going. He looks up. He sees Ronaldo. The pass is weighted perfectly. Not too fast, not too slow, just inevitable. Ronaldo strikes. The ball screams into the top corner. The net ripples. Not a roar, a detonation. One goal, one pass. Everything changed. Free kick at the edge of the box. Messi stands over the ball. The entire stadium expects the shot. The goalkeeper knows this. Everyone knows this. But Messi doesn't shoot. He rolls the ball sideways, gently, deliberately, and Ronaldo arrives like a freight train. The strike is thunderous, unsavable. Barcelona 3, Real Madrid 1. The impossible had not only happened, it had been beautiful. Messi and Ronaldo embrace at the center circle as the stadium roars. The question was no longer whether this partnership could work. The question was whether anything could stop it. Chapter 5. Champions League Final. The Champions League Final, the biggest match in club football. Barcelona versus Europe's most powerful club. A team built specifically to counter what Barcelona had become. The score, 2-2. The clock ticking into the final minutes of extra time. This was the moment the partnership faced its ultimate test. Not in victory, not in dominance, in exhaustion, in pain, in the minutes when legs stop working and only the heart keeps going. Messi steals possession at midfield. He looks up. Ronaldo is already running. They don't need to communicate anymore. They just know. 3 defenders, no space, no angle. In any other timeline, he would force the shot. But this timeline is different, because he knows. He knows Ronaldo is there. He knows that when you have a finisher like this, you don't need to score yourself. You just need to trust. Ronaldo's bicycle kick connects perfectly. The ball flies into the top corner. The stadium explodes. The bicycle kick, the most beautiful goal in football, and it had just won the Champions League. Confetti, tears, the trophy lifted against a sky of fireworks. Barcelona had conquered Europe, and they had done it with 2 men who were never supposed to stand on the same side. Chapter 6. The Legacy. Years pass, legends age, but legends never truly leave. A football museum. Quiet, reverent. Children walk past 2 enormous statues, Messi and Ronaldo, standing side by side, wearing the same shirt. Old highlights play on massive screens above them. History remembers the greats. It remembers the rivalries. But sometimes the greatest stories are the ones that never happened. Would Barcelona have dominated football for an entire decade? Would Ronaldo have won even more Ballon d'Or trophies, playing alongside the only man who ever challenged him? Would the greatest rivalry in sporting history have become the greatest partnership football has ever seen? The camera pulls slowly away from Camp Nou under a glowing sunset. The stadium lights flicker and fade into darkness. We will never know. But that is the beauty of football. It does not just give us what happened, it lets us dream of what could have been. History happened one way, but imagination has no limits. Follow UBTV for more legendary sports stories.